So part of being successful in the workplace is being able to work together as a team. Every team that comes together, they come together for a reason. When you put a team together, what is your goal? What's the purpose of a team? When the Saints go out on the field on Sunday, what are they trying to do?
Goal accomplished.
Goal accomplished, or they want to what? Very simply,
Win.
win. They want to win. Every team that's put together, every team that has ever been put together in the history of teams, the goal has been to win. Um, and every team, in sports, it's pretty easy. Whoever has the highest score at the end of the game wins. With businesses, it's generally making money and being profitable. Um, with nonprofits, things like we're doing here, it's reaching out to the community and getting our participants in a position to increase their standard of living and to get them back out to work and get them in a prosperous job. Things like that. That's our version of winning. And a team it can consist of 2 people, 3 people. It can consist of 1,000 people or 10,000 people. You have corporations all over the world. The Walmart team. You know, Walmart. Their team includes their offices, their stores, their everything. Like it could be literally hundreds of thousands of employees. Here at the workforce offices, we have altogether in this region probably about 50 people working for you all together. Various number of people in each offices. Some people like me, we kind of float from office to office. We don't see each other every day. Most days I don't. Most days um, I see basically one group, one team per week. Um, Now that doesn't necessarily mean that's always the case, but I may only see 3 or 4 team members a week. Very seldom are we all together because we're spread out all over the region. But it doesn't matter because our goal is to win. Okay, our goal is to win every time, and when we win, that means we're working for you. And we're getting you the help that you need, and we're getting you employed. We're getting your resumes done. We're showing you um, what it takes to be successful. And we win when you win. We win when you succeed. We're successful when you succeed. And we couldn't do it if we weren't working together. We have an outreach team which goes into businesses and goes into schools and tells people, "Hey, this is this program that we have." We have an intake team. That's the first people that you see when you walk into the building. They sit down with you and they talk to you. They find out your income. They find out all this stuff. They see if they can get you qualified for the program. You do the aptitude tests and the things like that, and hire. They help you get your hire account set up, and they get all your paperwork ready to go and get you registered in the system for the WIOA programs that you're going to be doing. And they pass you along to the career coaches, and the career coaches are basically your mentors. The career coaches are your cheerleaders, and they're there to make sure that you're successful. So those are like our big three, our big teams. Then we have, of course, every team um, has its own supervisor. Then we have a couple of supervisors over everything. So there's a lot. There's a lot of um, there's a lot of stuff, or a lot of people here working for you that you don't see. And we couldn't we couldn't do it if we weren't all working together. Okay, we couldn't do it. So you don't necessarily have to be in the same office to be on the same team. For those of y'all that are going to be driving, you won't ever be in an office together probably. You're driving, and But you're on the same team. You're trying to get the same thing done. Now those of you that work in offices and medical offices, things like that, of course, you're going to be on the same team, be the same office probably. I know Shantasia, she wants to eventually be in the FBI, which is great. You'll be on a team. You'll be on a very, relatively small but elite team, trying to get out there and make a difference. So we all need to know, and we all need to sort of practice and just kind of keep in mind some things that we can do, some best practices to be good teammates. So let's explore some of those. So why should you be a team player? Because every organization relies on strong teams. Everybody. If your team isn't strong, then your company's not going to do well. If one aspect of your company is sort of faltering and is not a strong team, it kind of pulls everything else down. It's an old cliche, but a chain is only as good as its weakest link. You know, if you're trying to chain something up, but there's one link that's weak in the chain's going to be easy to break. So we all have to do our part to be strong teammates and to be good teammates. Do you want to become a valuable asset to your company? I hope so. If you're not working to become a valuable part of the team, then you sort of need to take a look at yourself and see sort of why you're there. Okay. And so we're going to talk about working on becoming an outstanding team player in the workplace. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to be committed. Okay. Work for a company whose values align with your own. The best way to be committed to a job is to work at a place that you want to be. If you feel, hey, I'm committed to this cause and this cause and this cause, or I want to help this section of people, or I want to do this kind of work because it makes me feel good, or I want to do this kind of work because it's going to make me a lot of money. Whatever it is, whatever values you have, try to find a job that matches those. Try to find a company that matches those values, because if your values go hand in hand with the company's values, then you're going to have an easier time working. Um, I wanted to go to work for a company that helped people, in need. Uh, you know, Before this, I was working for Faith House, and Faith House, I was helping people over there. It was a different capacity, helping them in a different way. This was helping them overcome or avoid abusive relationships, or teaching kids how to not be bullied, how to be resilient when they were being bullied. But it was helping people. When it came time to look for another job, I said I still want to help people, and I was able to find this. The values align with my own. I couldn't be at a job where, it was a assembly line where our values were to get everything out as quickly as possible, and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again every day. Um, I couldn't do that. It's not the way I'm built. Um, what what are your values? Think about that. If you're going to try to find a job that matches with your values, you need to figure out what your values are. What do you value most? Who are you as a person? And what kind of work can you do that will amplify that? Okay, don't just show up to work. Be engaged and offer your input and your best effort every day. It's easy to get used to going to work every day and getting in the same routine every day. And it just becomes just almost mindless. Like kind of when we talked about yesterday about driving home, um, driving home and then getting home and not realizing how you got there. You know, that sort of unconscious drive, our brain just kind of takes over and says, all right, well, you know, here we go. And then you're there and you don't even realize how you got there. Same thing. You're at work every day and it's just your day passes and you're like, wow, what did I do? Okay. Be engaged, talk to your teammates, talk to the people in your office, see if they need help with anything. If your job you have a little bit of leeway and a little bit of free time, see what you can do to help out. Just be helpful. Eliminate distractions while you're at work, and silence your cell phone and turn off alerts. Those are they're kind of two peas in a pod. Because that's our biggest distraction is our cell phone. Because if anytime there's a lag in work or things slow down, we say, oh, let me check Instagram. Let me check TikTok. Let's see what's going on over there. Let me check Facebook. Hold on, let's see what's going on over there. All of a sudden you look up and you've wasted, 20 minutes. You're not getting paid to look at Facebook. You're not getting paid to look at TikTok or play games or whatever. Keep your phone in your desk, in your locker, turn it off. Oh, what if someone calls me? You can get back to them on your break. Well, what if it's an emergency? Make sure they have your work number. So if they call and they can't get through to you, they know to call you. They know to call your work. Okay. And again, I'm not anti-cell phone. Love my cell phone. I was playing on my cell phone while y'all were at while y'all were at lunch.
No,
But you gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta keep you gotta keep busy and keep from being distracted so you can do your best work. All right. So you also want to be flexible. I'm sorry. I can hear somebody's background. Make sure your mics are muted, please. Okay. The second thing you want to do is be flexible. Be flexible to the situations and tasks thrown your way. Don't ever say it's not my job. Okay, that's the worst. If you need help somewhere, you go and ask for. Say you're in a grocery store and you need to find something. Hey, can you help me find this? Oh, that's not my job. Now, no one's actually said that to me in a grocery store. But if you need help, you gotta call tech support for something. Oh, that's not my job. You have to call this number. Don't ever say that if you can help it. Even if it's outside your normal job parameters, even if it's something that that you don't normally do, figure it out. Help somebody. Let's just say you are the master of the produce section at your grocery store job. You are, every day you go in and your fruits and your vegetables look amazing. They all look great. You're making sure they're getting the little mister on them. You're making sure that you're rotating out the ones that the food that doesn't look as good or that might be going bad. If anybody walks into your produce section, they immediately just want to buy all the stuff because it looks so good, because you're so good at your job. And you practice and you practice and you practice, and your produce skills are amazing. You get to work one day and your boss says, hey, we need you to work in the meat department today. Need you to come here and put an apron on, and we're going to get you to help us wrap some meat. Well, you got two choices. It's not my job. I'm the master of produce. Or you can say, okay, let's go. Let's go. Kind of what we talked about yesterday, the attitude, Yeah, sure. Let's go. Why do you think a supervisor at a job would ask you, especially if you're really good at something, would pull you from that job and ask you to do something you've never done before? What would be some reasons?
Short-staffed.
Short staff? Yep. Someone may have called in. What else?
What was the question?
Why would someone in that situation, why would a supervisor or someone in charge pull you away from something that you're great at and put you into something you've never done before?
I would think that maybe he wants to see what other job opportunities they have for him. How well does he work with being told to do so, but also what if he wants to promote him, but he wants to see that if he can accept this job and do it, even though it's not in his job, but how would he take it?
100%. That's exactly right. It could be a test. It could be say, hey, look, boy, Sheila over there, she's the produce master. She comes in and she just nails the produce. I love what she does. Let's see how she does in a completely different environment. Let's take her from the complete opposite, from vegetables and produce over to the meat department. Let's see how she does if she has to, touch meat or wrap meat or, get a little bit, get get some dirt on her apron, get some, in a completely different environment. Could be because they're short staffed. Could be because they believe in her. Look, she's really good. We're gonna get her over there, and she's gonna bring that sense of excellence to whatever department she's in. Could be, hey, we want to make her an assistant manager, and maybe she needs to get some training in there. Maybe it's, let's just see how she does. Let's just see how she does in a different environment. It could be any one of those things. But if you go, it's not my job. First of all, you should never tell your boss it's not your job. You should never tell a customer it's not your job. They need you. You need to be flexible. Okay? Do your best. Remember, if you make yourself irreplaceable, they're never going to try to replace you. Okay? And that seems simple, but it's true. Part of getting up every day and saying, hey, I'm going to be the best at what I do today, part of having that SpongeBob mentality is saying, you know what, I'm going to meet the challenges. I'm going to meet the unexpected things that I may need to do today. And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability because I'm awesome. And I'm going to bring my awesomeness to whatever part of the job I need to do today. And it's true. If you walk in with that attitude, you are awesome. And you just bring that awesomeness with you wherever you go. Carry that aura of awesomeness with you and spread it around to other people by just being excellent and doing what you need to do. You're going to make people want to be around you. And if people want to be around you, they're not going to want to ever get rid of you. Okay, keeping a job is not hard. Show up, do your work, be pleasant, be someone people want to be around, and go home. Come back and do it again the next day. All right? Try to take on work without showing too many signs of stress or pressure. Does this mean you can't be a human being? Absolutely not. Okay? That doesn't mean that you have to be this robot automaton just taking everything and constantly just working yourself to death. Okay? If you need help, if it is too much, then and it's causing you problems, you say, hey, look, you need to go to your supervisor and say, I don't have a problem with doing this work. I enjoy helping. I want to make sure everybody, gets help or, with this project, but this is a little bit too much for me for one person with my other job duties. Can we figure out a way around it? And sit down and talk to people. Okay. Most managers, if they're good managers, don't want you to, burn yourself out, because burnout employees are no good. Like it's really just bad for like morale. It's bad for everything. It's bad for the team. It's bad for the employees' mental health. Like, it's just a lot. So if you're under stress and you're saying, look, this is just a bit too much, go and talk to someone and say, what can we do to kind of alleviate some of this pressure? Okay. And just be positive about it. Be respectful about it, but try to solve the problem and see what can happen. All right. Avoid the shadows. Okay. Don't just sit quietly getting your work done. Now, does that mean don't work? No, that just means don't isolate yourself. Don't wall yourself off from other people. Okay. You want to take some initiative. Ask about other aspects of the job. When I was doing QA in the machine shop, I've never welded before, but I was inspecting welds. I knew what welds were supposed to look like. But some of the welders had problems with me inspecting their work because I'd never been a welder. I realized that. So in my free time, I went over to the head welder and I'm like, show me some welding stuff. Educate me on welding. Show me what you're doing. And I put on a hood, the welder hood, and I would stand there and watch him as he explained what he was doing. So that's a thing that you can do. If you're finished with your work or you're ahead of schedule, find someone else and say, hey, I really want to learn more about what you do. Can you tell me about this side of things? Take some initiative, pick up some skills, teach yourself some things, have others teach you stuff. Reach out to your coworkers for support, for advice, for help, whatever you need. Okay. And you also want to problem solve at the lowest level. Okay, I'm going to ask this now. In the entire time I've been doing Career Smart, no one has ever gotten this question right. I want to see if one of y'all can today. What does it mean to problem solve at the lowest level?
To fix a problem without
Without what?
Knowing the problem?
No, not fixed problem, not knowing the problem. Kaylin, what were you going to say?
fixing a problem without, I don't know how to put it, man. It's like I don't want to say anger, but it's
Okay, so that's I see what you're saying. That's not quite it, but that's a great guess. Okay, that's a great guess. Um, and it's also true. You should problem solve without anger. You should try and resolve conflicts peacefully. Obviously, you don't want to cause have big conflicts at work. Say anybody else want to give it a shot? Problem solve at the lowest level. Okay.
Take
Oh wait, what you got?
taking accountability for the problem.
Well, I mean, in a way, if it's your problem, if you caused it, then yeah, you definitely want to take accountability. So let's talk about problem solving at the lowest level. Okay, basically, what you're trying to do is you're not trying to escalate problems to a supervisor that don't really need to be escalated to a supervisor or to a supervisor's supervisor. So let's just say um, you and a coworker have a disagreement over how you're a particular policy. You think you're supposed to do something one way, and they think you're supposed to do it the other. Now, would you take that to the head of the company, the person in charge, the big CEO, the person in the big tower somewhere, or are you going to take it to your immediate supervisor? What do you think?
Immediate supervisor.
Supervisor.
Sure, immediate supervisor, right? Hey, look, Fred and I we're talking. We kind of need a judge. We kind of need a rule judgment on this problem, this policy. Can you tell us what this means? Clarify it for us, because that's the immediate supervisor's job, is to handle things in their immediate control. You take that seemingly what feels like a big problem to you, but ultimately in the process of running an entire company, an individual dispute about a policy is maybe not the thing that's on the CEO's radar, right? You wouldn't try to take it that high. So, first of all, it would look like to your supervisor you're trying to go over their head, that you don't respect them or their judgment. Well, why would you go over my head like that? Most companies have an organizational chart, and an organizational chart is basically, it outlines everybody, what their positions are, and who they report to when there's a problem. So you want to keep that at the lowest level. Before you even take it to a supervisor, try to work it out with Fred. Try to work it out with the person you're having the problem with before you even take it to your supervisor. Now, there's an exception to this rule. If you are being sexually harassed or bullied or discriminated against, or anything personal being done to you in a harassing manner, if that is happening because of your supervisor, if your supervisor is doing it, then you need to go up a level, because obviously they're not going to do anything about it because they're the ones doing it. So you would then escalate that up to another level. And if they don't do anything about it, then you would escalate that up to another level, and you would keep making noise until someone paid attention. Okay. Don't ever sit in silence if you're being mistreated, discriminated against, harassed, bullied, just because it's an immediate supervisor. You go over their head, and you go over as many heads as possible until that problem gets resolved, because nobody deserves to have to sit in that environment and take that for no reason. Okay. Keep going until someone pays attention to you. Okay. You want to be reliable and be responsible. Excellent team players are reliable and responsible. Do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. Okay. Look at your work and prioritize it. Look at the things that are due immediately and do those first. Okay. Complete those tasks first, the ones that are the most, they're going to be due the soonest. And then work your way down from there. And then communicate. If you need more time, ask for it before a project is due. Talk to your supervisor. Hey, here's what's going on. Can I get some help? Can I get a little extension? Can we get this figured out? But do that before it's due, not when it's due. Part of communicating is, of course, I've brought this up a few times, actively listening. The best team players consider the viewpoints and the ideas of their teammates. If you don't agree, don't interrupt or prepare a counter argument. Listen, be open, and search for understanding. Listening, being open, and searching for understanding. That is actively listening in a nutshell. Be like this bunny rabbit here. Keep your ear open. Keep your ears open. Keep it tuned and pointed towards your coworkers. Listen to what your teammates say. Process what your teammates say. Create attitude or create answers and thoughts based on what they say. Solutions to problems based on what they say. Actively listen to what your teammates have to say. Nobody wants to work with someone who doesn't listen. Nobody. It's just a mess. Okay. If you have somebody who won't listen to anybody else on the team, it's a problem. Okay. Recognize when you're wrong. Okay. If your idea isn't the best, back off and move on. You make a mistake, acknowledge it, and avoid being stubborn. Some of us may not be great at this, and I'm pointing at myself right now. I can be a little stubborn, and I'm resistant to change. Okay. I recognize that about myself. This is something that I'm working on, and I know that it will make me a better teammate if I'm not as resistant to change. How many of you are good at acknowledging your mistakes? That's tough. Taking responsibility for mistakes that you made, being able to do that in a mature manner. I mean, that's an accomplishment. A lot of people can't do that. Recognizing that maybe your idea isn't the best, don't keep harping on it. Okay. All right. It wasn't the best. We're going with somebody else's idea. That's fine. Ultimately, a leader is going to make a decision, and you have to go by the decision of that leader. And again, this is all part of being a gracious teammate. This is not being a sore loser. This is, again, just being humble enough to realize when you're wrong, or when enough people think that you're wrong and they're not going to go along with your plan, and you have the head on your shoulders enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to argue. Okay, we'll just go with this and we'll see what happens. But if it fails, then I may bring my point back up again. Okay. This whole thing on teamwork, it's just about being a cool person. Okay. Just stay relaxed, stay laid back, focus on your team, focus on success, focus on being a good person, focus on helping out whenever you can and learning what you can. You remember what I said yesterday, learn as much as you can while you can, because the more you know, the easier things are going to be for you. The more education, the more knowledge you have, the easier things are going to be. And part of seeking that knowledge is realizing that you don't know everything, and being able to accept that. Okay. Now, normally we would watch there's a video here, but it's folks are having connection issues and things like that. And so we're not going to try to watch it. We're going to move on to the quiz, but I just want to let you know there's a question about this video on the quiz, and the answer to the question is a giant squid. Okay, it was a video about a group of scientists coming together to capture on film for the first time a sea creature that people had only thought existed in myth, and it's a giant squid. It's really cool. But I know people are having connection issues, so we're gonna kind of hold off on that. But the answer to the question on the quiz is giant squid. Okay, so